Hey, Max here. So, I just want to remind you, this is not the Madden 26 beta critique and notes from what we saw. This is the Maximum Football review that just came out June 19th. So make sure and check that out because EA doesn't allow us to talk about their beta. And so we definitely will never do that again. But let's go through point by point. I was just jotting down notes as I was playing Maximum Football 2025. In so I think it was 120 FPS, which is new. Was 25, not Madden 25. Okay. I think they upped to 120 FPS this year from 60. I think so. I didn't go and confirm that, but that brings me to the next point. The frame rate was janky, so they said in the notes you need to change it to visual, which actually made it a lot better. But I feel like that's probably the reason for the frame rate problems. But hey, look at that. Providing some, that's probably one of the reasons why people say the graphics are so much better this next year too, is a lot more smoother for that. Even though the human eye literally can't see above 60 frames per second, they decided to add it 120 regardless. QBs have good speed, even slower dudes. I noticed like when I took off, so that my end of Madden 25 offense was QB draws with like truz and stuff, and we'll talk about this later about how the QBs don't really fumble that much anymore. But I definitely felt like running with quarterbacks, I felt as nimble as I was running with like running backs. It was weird, right? When I was playing as the Steelers online, and I played a bunch of different teams, both head-to-head, regs and mutt. So we try to get like all the modes and everything and how they feel, because abilities versus non-abilities matter a lot too. So I didn't get like 1,000 hours of testing in, but I tried to get as much as I could. Okay. Next up, I guess I could just keep scrolling down. There are much better hot routing this year. It's something that people have been asking for years, because it was weird last year seeing college football players like 18-year-old freshmen being able to make any hot route in the game, but 30-year-old veterans of the league that don't have any abilities aren't able to make the same thing. So we do have that, the loss of Hot Route Master, because everybody's just got it built in. They added stuff like return routes. That'll probably be the most used. They added other ones, I think slot fades and some other stuff. Disappointed they took away from flat. Wish corners and posts from wide receivers were sharper in order to beat man. Okay, let me as this next point, they beat man IRL because the receiver can catch it like this. But with the click on ability, I know EA added that visual thing where you used to be able to click on, jump up, get those crazy picks. They put in the thing this year where if you're not looking at the ball, you're not gonna get the ball, that kind of stuff. I guess we'll watch some gameplay while I'm yapping here. I appreciate what EA did with the superhuman DBs that everybody complained about when you were you try to bullet a pass down the field, that kind of stuff. And then they just went up and grabbed it and snatched it. So they got rid of that ability because IRL, that doesn't really happen. But in game, because we have that third person omniscient view, we know when to click on, we know when to make that play. So they nerfed the ability for you to make that play. But what I'm saying about the posts and the corners specifically is so here's say this is where a post pattern is on a receiver. That's the angle. The man is able to keep up with that angle because it's not very sharp. Whereas an in route's like this, super sharp, so the man doesn't keep up with it as well, except for some shades in, some crazy good man coverage guys. But tight end corners are sharper angles, so they're not really in routes, so they get depth. So I want posts and corners to be sharp like tight end corners, and not faded like this, because they don't attack the soft spot of the field like a player would in real life. They attack the safety's able to make a play on it. The man coverage doesn't get beat. So essentially when you put them on the field, you're losing a lot of the effectiveness of what you want that route to be, because the defense doesn't really have to do anything to stop it. So ideally posts and corners from receivers end up being better overall and sharper going forward. That's just a minor critique of the hot route stuff. But yeah, they're looking at ball mechanic with the DBs for guys just being able to go and get this. You could still throw out a sack in completions, but the sped up quarterback throw release are noticeable, and D-line catch a lot better now. It is like the D-line have, and I think it's all the defensive players. So shout out to EA for doing something we asked for them for years and years and years and quote unquote building in pick artists, especially on comp mode. Sim mode, drop all the passes. I don't care. You know what? Every DB can be Ike Taylor out there. I don't care. Okay. But in comp mode, they should catch the interceptions because it is so hard to make a person make a misread in this generation of Madden with how slow it is. And we'll talk about game speed here in a second, but being able to get your hands on a ball is especially against a solid player. And I will say in the beta, I maybe went against one or two I would consider good players. So not a ton, but being able to get those people to make a mistake and the veterans, it's so dang difficult. So being able to turn mistakes into punishments is important for a game online, because who really cares about RNG? That double motion we'll talk about later, you saw on your screen, because that's a really interesting one. Next up, the Jukes. Okay, so EA said they updated it, but I made this note before they did it. Basically, Juke's outside of hold R2 and Juke. So R2, and Juke need to be faster / have a purpose at all. Could say the same thing for spin. Each modifier needs to mean something. So modifier, I mean okay, so the modifiers to Juke are just straight up holding forward, juking, holding forward, right trigger down, juking, holding this left trigger, juke, holding this right trigger, left trigger, juke. All those things to modify it, to make it go a different way, needs to be something. Now, shout out to EA for already knowing I was going to bring up this point. They're in my mind, man. They're working with Palantir, man. And hopefully fixing a little bit of this, because we got to control it. We got to let different things and give us the opportunities to be successful in different situations. That's called stick skills, and we need stick skills in our video games. Because it's fun, man. Taking ankles is one of the most fun things you can do in this game. It's right up there with user picks. But when it's skillless, it's just annoying. So when guys automatically move into animations, it's just terrible gameplay. Let's see. They made a mistake making guys miss interceptions. They catch them better, but the looking at is what I'm referring to. So one time during the game, basically a player had the ball and the ball went right here, my defender, and I was like, is it because he wasn't looking at it? Now, it only happened once, so I'm not going to say it's the worst thing ever, but you just take a mental note, because we play this game a lot, and if it's cropping up once, it might have problems down the road. All right, man press is really good. Learn to speak auto motion. Although in regs, it was easier beating with down receivers. Running with DK Metcalf on the Steelers, he was able to beat man press down the sidelines. But now, to be fair, it was the god tier fade routes, not the trash fade routes that you hot route to, right? Not those things where it's like a slight outbreak then up. Those things are trash, right? The good ones are straight streaks, but you can't audible to that anymore for some reason. You got to hot route, curl route deep for God knows why. And then the god tier fades, which are straight at the line of scrimmage, but then fade out a little bit. I've been running. It's so he was on that route and he beat it. And each one of those streak routes beat press at a different tier, with that one beating it the best in my experience, when the worst one is those trash fades that you can hot route to. So overall, I'm a little worried about man press, but we'll see how it plays out, especially with higher end receivers, higher end abilities, that stuff, as we go down the road. And I do think down receivers like DK, if those are the ones beating them, and trash receivers are losing to trash DBs, okay, fine, whatever. It's just kind of annoying. My third and fourth receiver on most teams and regs aren't doing anything against teams trash third or fourth DB. CPU in the open field, head up. So when I say head up, not apply directly to forehead. Head up like you're running at a running back, okay? All right, so basically they react so good that the best move to do players is just click off. So in previous years, right, you had the click off cowards. If you're either going head up, going at an angle, people click off to let the CPU tackle because it's so much more effective than trying to manually user it. It shouldn't be that way. You should force people to have to manually try and tackle me. The best Maddens are where you can use your left stick and you can use your joystick, or either one of left, right, and you fuck up the CPU, but not fuck up like 7 CPUs at once, like a Madden 18 Barry Sanders spin where you could take the entire defense's ankles. They've kind of solved a lot of that with like the 2-man, like one guy will get it, but the other guy won't. But like, so overall in the game, the left stick works really well against users, but it's trash against the CPU because the trash reacts in nanoseconds, okay? But the right stick can work for the CPU because it brings them into animations. So it's kind of like balanced. The users kind of anticipate the right stick a little bit better than what I've seen based off the meta in that year's Juke, spins, that kind of stuff. But the CPU still gets sucked into animations. So I guess that's balanced because the left stick beats users, right sticks beat CPU. So the guys like click on, click off, click on. Like you'll go against guys who are like masters of the click on, click off to like get you to like, oh, do I beat him with left stick? Do I beat him with the right stick? And then I'm tackled. Okay. So making the CPU bad at like the finishing of the tackle, like I want CPU to be good at pursuit. Get me near the ball carrier. Get me there, please. But then like make the user make the final play is the ideal. We'll talk about movement in a second, and this kind of plays into it. So it's a really what I should just put that on repeat. 2-man pass rush is too good. Otherwise, the pass rush was fine. Like, I thought, like, breaking the pocket wasn't that hard. Contains were okay, I guess. When I went against guys running contains, like, you could still, like, double them and stuff. But that's kind of like the game is the game. It's not as bad as it used to be, so I'm thankful for that. But like one time a guy would run like 2 guys, maybe based off like abilities. And if they had the right abilities, a 2-man rush is still dominant. I don't know if I like that, right? Double teams by professional athletes still are tough, but we see like the all-time greats. Chris Jones breaks them a bunch, so I don't know. It feels weird to have 2-man rushes, but like one of your guys a dominant interior, and like it's just still home really quick. So that's a tough one, especially for regs guys. In Mutt, we can have counters and stuff depending if they've given us the right abilities and whatnot, but otherwise that 2-man was a little aggressive at times. Aggressive catching in traffic's too good, but I'd be surprised it's not nerfed. Now, I wrote this note, and since playing the game a little bit longer, I'm kind of on the borderline, right? The reason why I'm on the borderline is that, like, possession catch is really bad, but aggressive catching is not. So, like, what is weird is, like, well, I got one of them animations where, like, the ball is thrown to me, and I got it. And you get that one, like, when I hit possession catch, I want my guy to get down, dude. I want it being, like, like, all of a sudden it's Indiana Jones, and there's a saw blade coming across to cut your face. Like, I want you to catch it and go down. But I got that animation where they catch it, and, like, they kind of, like, cradle for a second, and, like, they don't fall down right away. So then some guy, after I caught it, and I'm sitting there for, like, a second, before I get the go down part, he contacts me, and I dropped the ball. I'm like, okay, clearly this was like his zone coverage versus my catching attribute interaction, and he had slightly higher, so I lost it. I lost the dice roll. And then like other times in the thing, it'd be like 4th and 22. I'm like, I'm going for this. What are you talking about? Yeah! And then like 3 guys around the player catch it, bang, 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 and then you hold on to it and you go down to the ground. You're like, easy game, right? I knew it the whole way. So there's no balance there with how well they hang on to it. The only balance is like you have to swat the ball, right? If you go for a catch and you touch the guy, he's hanging on to the ball no matter what. So I hate the balance on how good aggressive catching is, but I can see why they'll keep it, just because it's more of a use mechanic to swat it out or hit stick the guy. The problem is some of the animations don't allow you to. And, man, getting guys completing 4th and 22 on a regular basis is going to annoy the heck out of people. Option routes, so option routes are like where wide receivers have many different spots to go. Like, the run and gun playbook is filled with them. These got running back options, whether they go against man coverage or sit in zone. The issue with option routes, IRL, guys will find holes in zones. Like Cooper Kupp made a career of it. And in this game, they're at a predetermined spot, which I understand it's very hard to code, get away from the defenders. It's as hard as it is for them to say defenders get near receivers, as we've seen with the problem with zone coverage over the years. They're basically like get to a spot and sit there like traffic cones. So option routes, which are powerful IRL because they have an option to go inside, outside, curl, stop, keep going. And basically the receiver and the quarterback are both reading the defense at the same time. So they got to communicate like mentally with each other. And the quarterback has to trust the receiver's going to get there. In this game, it doesn't happen, right? In this game, the receiver will break to where a zone already is. So if you're like, oh, he's going to stop here because the zone's on his outside shoulder, and he runs like the out route instead of the stop route, you're like, hang on, you slut. What the fuck was that? So overall, option routes need major improvements going forward. As of right now, they're only kind of, if not slightly, unusable. MUT menus still trash. Now I play MUT generally on PlayStation, but I got the beta on Xbox, and they need to be crispy, dude. You can it's only a beta. Even selecting cards were slow, and like they gave us a loophole during the beta to make coins, and thanks for that. Thanks for the loophole, but man, can you just give us 1 million coins? Just let us open some packs, get a team, and get into it. Like having to invest an hour just to play the game to do a loophole to get the cards. Yeah, sure, it's fun, but I'm going to lose the team here, so it's not that fun because there's no long-term benefit to investing that time other than, hey, I'm trying to test your game. Defense is still going to get complaints as far as secondary play. I'm talking zone coverage and whatnot. It is what it is. I'm saying all this stuff. The game is still improved. I just want to say these things so you guys aren't caught unaware, and hopefully devs can take a look at some of these things. I don't expect it to fix everything. If they knock out even a quarter of this before launch, I'd be very happy. And they've already knocked out some of it, like I talked about. So this is sounding really negative, but the game overall, it was better. It definitely was better. Stretch defense. Oh, hey, look at that. There's a compliment. Much more realistic. Good work there. D-line on inside runs, getting driven too far away. That's been a problem for years, right? Like, I don't know. It is what it is. You can fix it a multitude of ways, but being able to have, frequently, truck-sized holes and a dive is unfortunate, I feel like. Double teams drive them super far, but I'm not. It is what it is. More gaps to shoot. Am I right, fellas? I really don't have a suggestion other than make the fat boys matter, because weight doesn't matter enough. I feel like at times here. Pass leading is awful. Don't even hit L2 and still miss throws. L2 is basically remember a few years ago they sold us L2 as the modifier, unlimited range on your quarterback. This is the best way of getting that extra inch to beat the defense. And then last year they threw basically L2 with the trash. And you know what? Fuck L2. All my homies hate L2. And you can sometimes use it. But what we were using for it a few years ago and what we used it for last year, it's night and day difference. Even without L2, just pass leading in breakers, it gets misthrown and intercepted for some reason. Say you're in breakers and against man coverage, say it's man cover 2 or something, and you're throwing a deep in, a dig route. And you pass lead it to the left or to the right, and so you got coverage behind you, trail coverage like cover 2 has, and then you have coverage over top, so you throw it and there's a spot there to hit it, and then all of a sudden, because you pass lead it, it gets overthrown. But if you don't pass lead it, the trail guy gets it. So one of the main man beaters is basically hey, I heard you kids like playing with fire. Here you go. Here's a bonfire. Yeah, go ahead, throw that WD can in it. Let's see what happens, man. It's annoying. Need punishment for runners that run in the back of their lineman. That's not stick skills. Dude's pinball so crazy. They need to do. I know they had in previous years they had the hesitation in the back to put the hand out, but now it's just dong dong dong, and then 5 yards run. So while stretch defense much better, stretches are pretty good still, because the edge defender doesn't do the job that well. Interior runs got buffed, especially with the removal of, which I think is a good thing, the read and react defense. Getting rid of that was a good thing. Laddering the ball should be good. I like laterally after interception. That's just fun, man. Fun's important. Do that. Give us the TikTok highlights. As long as it's not like every day, bro, with that lateral flow. As long as it's once in a while, it's much cooler. Defensive user doesn't feel responsive. It could be a ratings thing, and it feels like I'm driving a truck still. You know what? Overall movement, it is improved, right? You've heard me go on this rant about new gen movement versus old gen movement and how new gen is less fun, and they were dumb for doing it. Luckily, they're walking it back because they heard the amount of people complimenting CFB movement. I would still say it's not good enough. I want a more responsive game. Like when I have my guy moving and I hit a stick, I want him to go. Like I don't want like a hesitation. I don't want any sort of delay. That's annoying. But I know they wanted to make it more realistic, and having a guy being able to like instantly go away, 100 acceleration based off my stick skill movement. It was hard for people to make reads. I get it, but it was more fun for me. And that's, in the end, what I'm evaluating this game on. My opinion and my fun level. RPO flat still mess up zones at times. There are, though, adjustments for it, so not properly played out. Saw it out of many sets. Saw one out of pistol. Saw it out of the sets, too. This is just the notes I make during the game. So zones still crash in against the run, but like I said, there's coaching adjustments that haven't been messed with on my end or my opponent's end. So that could be much better. And then, I actually, to be fair, I actually did see a lot better RPO defense in 26 and 25. So I'm going to say RPOs have been dealt with effectively by EA. Could haunt me on that one. You need to unlock defenders pre-snap, leave them where they drag. Like, dude. So this is I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here, so we'll rewatch this. This is something from years past in Madden. Basically, how you set up nanos way in the day, right? Way before, many of you learned to tie your shoes. You drag the guy, he stood there, and then he hit like the proper blitz angle and got like a DTA gap, that kind of stuff, like the way you messed up offensive line. But now with how blitzing, how the line shifts, how everything is, dragging over a linebacker, then see him shift back 5 yards is annoying at best, right? It's just terrible game design that, like, I can't customize my defense, right? Like, I want play creator forever. I want the ability to maximize my formation adjustment, being able to out-leverage guys on offense, being able to, like, hit the right angles on defense to play where I want. And in having EA have the guys not only, like, animate pre-snap, they're out here, like, doing like the wavy, wild, inflatable man stuff, so it's hard to move them anyways. And then like not being where I want them based off how I want to play my defense just makes it less customizable. In today's world, with like everybody playing everywhere, right? Position flexibility. We got linemen playing receiver. We got receivers in the backfield. We got cornerbacks at receiver. Something with the receivers, huh? With that said, they need to unlock it finally. They need to get rid of that legacy code. They need to allow us, if I drag a guy somewhere and I want him there, plant his feet there, right? Because, like, if you move a guy pre-snap and then, like, you flip or audible, they're not moving at that point. What's the difference, EA? Why, when I want them to adjust to what the offense is doing, they won't adjust, but when I want to adjust, it won't let me adjust? I don't know, man. It's backwards. All right, that's enough yelling. Defenders in coverage are almost hardcore to turn their backs to QBs. Yeah, I wouldn't say all the time. So, you guys ever see a tight end corner against a deep quarter? So the tight end corner runs it, the quarterback throws it, and the quarter, for whatever reason, I'm talking not match, I'm talking about zone dropped. He tried to do like a COD no scope. He turned around for whatever reason when the ball was like literally thrown at him. He did a 180, and then tight end caught it, then he 180'd back, and then, like, touched him down because it was a possession catch. And then another time, a guy threw a crosser right at, again, not match, but straight zone dropped quarter. And the guy in the middle did that 180 to 360 after it was caught for the pass. So it was weird, right? It's like there was no receiver clearing him deep. If a receiver clears a guy deep, 100% agree. Turn and run, that's good football. But when a crosser's coming, like my DB's here, right here, and the crosser's coming here, and the ball is thrown, there is no reason for this guy to then run backwards when the guy's crossing his face here, right? I don't know. It's strange happenings in the secondary. Another time in match, right? And this is where that possession catch, this is where that aggressive catch or catch everything thing is a problem. He caught it with my defender all over him. You know, it happens. It's annoying. But then the one that really pissed me off was the second guy. I had another guy right there, and he got there after the catch was taking place, and the guy out caught my player, which is annoying enough. And then he just stood there as the animation's playing out, kind of like, you know, sitting in his cuck chair, and then the guy caught it, did the break tackle animation, and ran down the sideline as the guy is standing a foot to his right. Now, that's just not good football, dude. Like, that's leave that at your local motel, man. Okay? I need the second defender in there finishing the tackle. All right? There's no I in threesome, okay? Get your ass in there. When the ball's in the air, players don't hustle for the tip interception. That's kind of annoying. That was kind of annoying. The ball popped up, and the guy's like, I guess let's go for a stroll to the park. Nah, man, get your ass to the ball. Need more hustle. I don't need no O'Neal Cruz down the first base out there in my secondary. Too many game modes on the beta and MUT, hard to find games. That's just a beta thing. Knock it down. Knock it down. One all pro, one all Madden game mode. Let us search. There was like house rules. There was gauntlet. There was a few things. So even if it's just one game mode, but 2 is fine enough. Walking in the end zone of the tees. Yeah, give us more celebrations. Sure, why not, man? I hope it doesn't take too long, but whatever. People like that kind of stuff. I know it's not for me, but I'm not everybody. I'm not, I'm every Madden player. Okay, I'm not going to sing. They gave away B&D packs during the beta lull. I saw that. I just giggled, man. What cheap sons of guns. Why do they kill manual press? Like, I don't know. I enjoy manual press. So manual press is basically where you take your user and then like somebody with like high strength, press rating, a big size. And like, cause like you can't press tight ends in this game with like CPUs. So like most people use their tight end as like the main function of their offense, whether it's like, you know, slants, corners, posts, streaks, that kind of stuff. The tight end is the queen of Madden. So being able to manually press them and screw up their route timing is huge. And not being able to manually, like if I know their entire offense is based off of one route doing a certain thing and the timing of it, being able to get up in its face and jam it, that's important. Like I don't need it where they throw to the ground, right? I've seen that happen. I've seen guys throw other ones to the ground. That one, okay. Maybe if it's like Troy Franklin against like Ray Lewis and he's like, all right, here we go. Bah! Right? You don't come across the middle with that 160 pounds soaking wet. Okay, that's fine. But you shouldn't be able to throw tight ends to the dirt. I still think manual press should be a thing, though. It needs to be better. Right now, all you're doing is animating yourself out of the play, and it's bad. Really bad. They got to bring that back to something that you can use. I see my opponents, they shift forms from like, you know, a wide trips right to like a trips tight end left. And like the guys in man press decided like they watched them go set and they kind of like jogged over there. And the guy's like, oh, all right, well, snap. 2 guys free, easy completions. Defenders need to hurry up pre-snap. They need to get the rocks out their pants. We talked about this slightly earlier. QBs don't fumble that much. I think it's going to be a QB designed run year. We'll see. You know, hit sticks, strips, punch outs, that stuff still effective, but it feels like quarterbacks are more like running backs now, which, I cause hit sticks on running back fumbles. I think it's kind of cool. I think fumbles are random, but fumbles are needed in the game, without a doubt. They're not as fun. They're pretty fun to force, but not as fun as interceptions. If we're talking about a pure dopamine for dopamine, blow for blow level, right? But quarterbacks not fumbling like they have IRL, I'm a little bit more okay with it this year because they brought in wear and tear, even though I don't love the wear and tear system and how it's kind of happened. They're used because the way that abilities work in Madden. But we'll see how it plays out. This is something I want to see over time. More than like pooping on it right now and say, get rid of it. We'll see, right? This is something that it's going to be a while, but I would definitely add QB draws, QB wraps, QB blasts, that kind of stuff. I liked Arizona's playbook. They had some good ones with Kyler. Obviously, like Buffalo, what I'm running at the end of Madden 25, they had some good QB draws there. They actually lost a 5-wide formation, unfortunately, if I recall correctly. But overall, QB runs, you're gonna want to add them to your playbook this next year. Whoo. You can still tackle people through linemen, Omega Lull, and saw an air tackle, Lull Boom Tech. Boom Tech has been a disaster for the human species. AI on Pursuit still not great. Okay, man, I got to tell you about this one, dude. This is going to be another lengthy one, I guess. So my opponent, I think, was in like maybe nickel double A gap or something, and it was nearest the goal line. So I was going to run the RPO and make the decision to run up the middle. It was a terrible idea because the way I saw him stack the box, and then he ended up post snap. He had his user where the bubble would have taken away. He called out my play completely. I should have been shut down. Like, it was the dumbest thing that I could have ran at that moment. Should have been shut down for like a negative 3-yard loss because both his guys in the A gap got through. So he had 2 defenders, and then his user was there ready to pick the RPO. I'm like, great read, bro. I got to hand this off and take the loss. But what ended up happening is I handed it off, and the 2 defenders ran right to the right of my running back because they were waiting for like a launch point over there. But the running back got the ball, and I just ran straight up the middle. So, like, they had enough guys that attacked the quarterback and the running back. They could have smacked my face up. But they decided to go ahead and, I don't know, make a business decision in the backfield. And I just ran for a touchdown, even though my opponent completely outplayed me. Terrible. So, I mentioned RPO defense being better above, but it is still not near where it needs to be. Just overall intelligence-wise. I don't know why they did this. I know why they did it, but they shouldn't do it. You can't get off the D-line with a switch stick this year. That's an L, right? They want to do it because for some reason in their brain, the touch a guy and go back defense was degenerative, or touch a guy and then switch stick back. It's not that bad with the other balancing factors, right? With an improved run game, you can't get in a dollar and just touch the D-line and go backwards because then I can just like here's the thing about the run game. If you touch a guy and go backwards on a run, you turn your back to a 330-pound pissed off guard, right? Like, these guys didn't get any love growing up. They were all fat. If you turn your back to them, your face dirt, you're eating grass, man. Okay? So the stuck on the D-line thing, right? Where like a few years ago, oh yeah, you'll be able to get out of it. Just go backwards. You go back to that, man. You sold it to us a few years ago. Don't unsell it. That was fine. Okay? Just improve the leverage in the run game. And if somebody tries to go backwards, I'm not going to say what I wanted to say there, but make them suck dirt. Play action blocking can be tragic. Tackles just don't get the guys, especially like on any sort of blitz. Saw a ball bounce off my wide receiver's hand. Oh, wait, hang on. You guys can't see that one. Saw a ball bounce off my wide receiver's hands, possession catch without getting contacted. Possession catches are like in a really funky spot right now. Hopefully they iron it out a little bit. Scoreboard said, again, this is nothing. The minor text change. With how hard it is to get user picks, we can take away. Can we take away the holding the catch button penalty? Now, there's no holding the catch button penalty if you're like switch sticking and stuff. But if I want to be on one guy, bring me back, man. It's so hard to make people make mistakes. I'm sick of the drop picks because I accidentally hit triangle too early. Because like with the delay, the natural delay of online gameplay, the lag, and then the controller delay, where it's like, how many milliseconds did the controller delay? 20 to 30? Depends on the controller. Xbox plugged in are better than PlayStation wireless. So there's already like milliseconds delay, and with how quick the quarterback's releases are, like not even this year, last year and stuff with Gunslinger, but this year it's even better. Like to catch a slant, it is so hard to get it in time because without pick artist, if you hit the button, like if you think they're gonna like, oh wait, hang on, what? Sorry. If you think they're gonna quickly throw it, you're gonna be hitting Y, right? You're gonna be like hitting Y because like if they throw it, you gotta be like. So if I think they're going to quick throw something and I hit Y, but then like they don't throw it, or I don't see any pumps, but you know, double pumps. And then like I then go up to the next level and I pick off a post coming the other way and I hit Y at the right time and I catch it. Or in this case, I don't catch it. Man, that doesn't feel good, dude. That doesn't feel good. Cover 3 match no longer beaten by the curl fade. So basically like a guy on the outside stops and the slot fades, where like the guy on the outside in a cover 3 match one-on-one on the outside and the slot with a fade, and the guy wins the slot fade. I don't know if there's probably still cover 3 match beaters, but it's the same problem I had with cover 4 drop. There needs to be one-play touchdowns against every single coverage shell in the game just to dissuade play spam. Because the reason why cover 4 was so freaking good and everywhere this past year was because there's no way of bombing it. You can't get over the top of it. Cover 2, cover 3, everything you can get over the top. But the one you couldn't was the meta. So allow us to one play spammers, and that's the balance you need more than anything else. All right? Portland concepts are a thing IRL for a reason. The fact that you took them out of the game as cover 4 beaters blows my mind. I'm not sure I'm a fan of the auto set slides and pass protections. I don't think they're going to change that. That's a selling point this year. I don't know why there was no reason to have auto set slides, but they have them. Double motions, another selling point of this year. Basically, prior to the snap, you hit the button, 2 guys go in motion, 1 sets, then 1 goes. I want the ability for the user to double motion. This goes with my control everything mind frame, like the play creator. I want to be able to motion a guy across, have him set, motion another guy. Obviously, not making like illegal formations or anything like that. So keep it legal, otherwise throw the flag. But that's kind of what I want, is the ability for us to use or do that stuff. Do not be afraid of your own game. Nerf the things that end up being expletive, but allow us to get the customization first, and then we'll find the BS down the road. The comp scene will definitely find the BS, but that's no different than any other year. So give us more fun, please. Contains, I made the same point about the college beta. Why'd you go from RB to RBLB? It's not that big of a change, I guess, but old man issue, just like the option handoff. I still don't know. Do I keep with my quarterback with A? Because I've been like decades of the same button press, and then for some reason you changed it, and there was no reason to change it. I hate this, man. Don't change the pre-snap stuff year to year unless there's a dedicated reason for it. But that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think about the Maximum Football beta, and what you guys' experiences were, and what you think I said right, what I said wrong. I appreciate y'all. Bye.